The evidence I found in the trash can in the nurse's office was... There we go. Now we're killing it.
I got it! It was a glasses cleaning cloth featuring a certain cartoon mascot. One look at the bloodstain on the cloth should make things clear. This piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mascot on the cloth is the same one that's on the digital camera, right?
It is, yep.
And whose digital camera was it? Hifumi's, of course.
The character was... Princess Piggles. From Demon Angel Pretty Pudgy Princess, I think.
Yeah, you think?
I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point. And the only people here who wear glasses are...
I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few tissues is all I need to keep my glasses clean.
Then there's no question. It belonged to
Yeah,
Hifumi.
Hina knew that title like the back of her hand.
So what you're saying is... what exactly?
What I'm saying is,
Keep going.
the blood on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
Even if that is true, it does not mean he wiped the blood off himself.
I can't, so... Someone told me in this stream that if I play the second game, then I need to watch the anime that bridges the second game and the third game together. I think I'm definitely going to do that.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses owner?
That's a good point.
Then it must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead. Then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up and walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then, if he was just pretending to be dead, what was with all that blood? Was it paint or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains
There we
packs
go.
of blood for emergencies.
It's all coming
He
together.
probably used one of those.
He figured if he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere! But he got crazy with it and had to wipe his glasses off when he was done! God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
The one who moved Taka's body was... Hifumi?
I got it! It could only have been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked.
The door was locked? Well, after the bodies disappeared, we all went looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed for the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked.
And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means, when Hina and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside.
And it could only have been Hifumi, who just finished stashing Taka's body there.
Yeah, so then he unlocked the door and then played dead again.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So, Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
Yes, please.
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement has yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? The item he took off of Taka's lifeless body?
The note. The thing that Hifumi stole from Taka, could it be... Could it be... the note Hifumi had?
I got it!
Oh, we're doing it now.
You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you?
You think Leon's just, you think Hifumi's just Leon in a fat suit? Is that you think, you Dubbin? Is Leon your favourite character? I get the feeling you like him the most.
Hidden note?
That's right. We found it stuffed in his pants.
What? In his pants?
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says.
I found a hole maybe we can use to escape. Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 AM.
Ah! That's the note I was telling you about. The one that told me where to go. Huh? Wait, this one's a little different. In my note it said...
Leon is everyone. Hey guys, I'm Leon.
Monokuma can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the rec room at 1 AM.
Down, Sakura.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. And that person could only have been...
Hifumi's pants. No, I think it's Taka.
I got it! That's right! Taka! The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him.
Hello? Over here! Objection! Objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it wasn't drawing out TikTok, they were drawing out Happy! Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi.
No worries, Tom. Enjoy your pot cleaning, dude.
Oh, yes! Why must you ruin it every time?
Man, Genocide Jack is seriously scary, but still, I can't let her get to me. Yeah, but we know that Taka had the scrap in his hand. See you in 2 hours, Tom. Oh, fuck. How'd you reload again? Broken wristwatch, Hifumi's glasses cleaning cloth.
Huffy had the
Goodbye,
note,
all
right?
our lives.
Then the person it was intended for must have been Happy!
But remember what the note said. What time did it say to meet?
6 AM, I believe.
The time doesn't matter! The note has nothing to do with TikTok!
Yes!
No, that's
First
wrong.
try. Oh, feels good. Probably had 3 bullets there as well.
No, there absolutely is a connection.
What the hell are you talking about?
The note said to meet at 6 AM, which is the same time Taka was murdered. We've already proven that using his wristwatch. But there's more. Look where the note says to meet. The equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed.
Oh,
I see.
yeah.
So, Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note.
So Hifumi, I reckon 90% killed Taka. Is Hifumi dead?
I think that should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka.
He must be because the announcement played.
Well, when you put it like that... No further objections!
Then someone used that note to trick Taka. Just the same as me. Ugh. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster. Telling people they found a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it?
It's a good question, actually. Why was Hifumi trying to get it back?
Stuffed down his pants, no less!
Most likely, Hifumi stole it off Taka's corpse after he died.
Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead, show us.
Easy. Proof that Hifumi stole a note from Taka. Here.
I got it!
Okay, back up
When
to
I searched
full lives.
Taka's body, I saw that his lifeless hand was gripping a small scrap of paper. If I'm right about this, the sheet of paper this piece came from is... I knew it! It fits perfectly with the note we found hidden on Hifumi.
Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's note.
Yup, they're from the same piece of paper.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of that note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right?
I think so, yeah.
That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly. Which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah. After seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this whole thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive!
That's what I'm saying. I'm with Hero. But then he's a bit of a dope, so maybe I'm stupid as well.
Sorry, no.
Oh, okay.
When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery announcement proves that.
Yeah, I guess so.
So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository. So he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So, he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before we found both bodies in the repository.
During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together.
Stop trying to steal the spotlight, you stupid walrus!
Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too. But there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi.
The weapon?
Yeah, because I mean, according to the Monokuma file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still laying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right?
Hey, Yazzie, you right, dude? How you doing, man?
So if Hifumi was
See you,
killed
mate.
in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi,
Right.
then put the hammer back where they found it.
Would that have been done?
But wouldn't that be seriously risky for him?
I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around that skull of yours after all.
God.
Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight.
He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Monokuma file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
What about the other hammer? We found the clean hammer, didn't we? I just
So
remembered.
the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers?
They didn't. They used the hammer and cleaned it. How you doing, Yazzie? You good, man? It's good to see you, dude.
Personally, I haven't a clue.
Oh, don't worry, Celeste. We
So
do.
which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 or number 2?
Those were accounted for in other rooms too. And I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Then,
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed with the same kind of thing, right?
So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
The weapon that was actually used to kill Hifumi. The whole picture surrounding this case won't become clear until we figure that out. You're below average. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, dude. Well, hopefully, if you want to hang out here with us and take your mind off things, but I hope there's nothing too bad going on, mate. You been up to much? Been keeping busy? Somehow, I have to find the truth. Right, okay, no, this is the hammer. But, oh god, how are we going to get it? How are we going to get it? Spotless hammer, there we go.
What was used to kill Hifumi? Was it Justice Hammer 3? Maybe Justice Hammer 4?
well, whatever it was, there's one thing we have to figure out. How was the culprit able to move around so freely with the weapon? How did nobody witness them carrying it?
Sounds like a Justice Hammer 5 is about to make its appearance!
Could it be Justice
Check out
Hammer 5?
murdergear.com/hammertime for more info!
Well, one thing seems pretty clear. The murder weapon had to be one of the Justice
Oh, there we
Hammers.
go. Yes, we got it.
No,
First time
that's
as well.
wrong.
We're doing well here.
The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different.
It was Shao Kahn? Oh my god, it must have been him then. Where's he been hiding this whole time? But we're doing it right now, aren't we? Aren't we, YouTube? What can I call you, YouTube? Is that alright? Would you like to call you Tubbin? But oh man. I think it was actually Leon with a hammer disguised as Shao Kahn. Maybe. I think that's the most likely thing. Leon's definitely involved somewhere.
But, seriously? A different weapon?
Done a lot of work recently? Oh, that's good, right? You've been keeping busy? I know work's not always the greatest thing, but at least you're getting some money in, dude.
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks of grit and debris.
Do you enjoy your work, Yossi?
But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean.
Cool.
Huh?
And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off.
Yeah, can't leave a bloody covered hammer.
I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers. Big ones, small ones, and even some flat mallet-like ones. I think whoever made the Justice Hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Monokuma file's note about the wounds being similar.
Oh, sorry, dude. My mistake. I remember you saying you're in school. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, I mean, school work can be super tough. Wait, are you in sixth form at the moment, dude? I'm trying to remember. But, yeah, it can be a real pain sometimes. I think it's all be worth it in the end, once you get some good grades out of it and stuff.
So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
Yeah, but who?
And whoever did that is the true killer. The one Hifumi was working with. And the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him.
Yeah, how'd you find sixth form, mate? Do you enjoy it? There's a bit more freedom, but quite a lot more work, isn't there?
The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. So the idea that anyone would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason for anyone to work together. At least that's what we thought at first, but... Oh, these are getting too hard. I dread these now. The spotless hammer? That's not going to help us here. We have to suck a
Based on the
comment up, I
rules
think.
that have been laid out for us, even if more than one person is complicit in the murder, only the one who actually carried out the act can graduate and survive. Assuming the rule holds true, it is simply impossible that two people work together on this.
That is how the rule was explained to us.
But that only really applies if there's one murder, right? In this case, however, there were two murders.
Okay. Right, so I think I
Based
suck
on
up
the rules that even if more than
the
one,
last
only
bit.
the one who actually, assuming the rule
And-
holds true. It is,
That is.
but that only really applies.
In this case, however, there
Suck
were
this up.
two murders.
Then we got to put it on the impossible part.
Based on the rules that have been laid out for us,
Even if more than one,
only the one who actually carried out the assuming the
Rule holds true.
Yes! Oh, we're
No,
getting good.
that's wrong.
We're getting pretty good here. Really used our brain around that one.
Since there were two murders, it's at least plausible that more than one person was involved.
Not fun, not good. Oh man, you seriously not enjoying it, dude? If it's too, if you're finding it a bit too tough, why don't you speak to like your teachers at your school? Sixth form might not be for everyone, man. Definitely not for everyone.
What do you mean?
It's better to talk to someone about it to see what your options are.
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together. The reward that balances out the risk of taking part in a scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I think that's what the true killer told Hifumi. They would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone. creating two separate incidents.
Yeah,
And it only
definitely.
looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. A single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice.
Okay, so who would have convinced Hifumi to do it? How could they have convinced him?
Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
The effort made to convince us the two murderers were the same. That was the main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at this as a series of connected events, but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing, although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now.
The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions and in the end, murdered him. In the debates up till now, the way the case has unfolded, when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seems to fit. Wait, what? Can't be Kyoko. That's all I can think about. No one fits. Celeste pulls his strings. She's always getting him to do stuff. She was making him make her tea and stuff like that. Celeste, right?
Here's my answer. It was Celeste.
Ah, so I'm the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
Whew, last minute, we popped into my
A
head.
joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him, that I would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it.
B. See you, Yuzzy. Have a good one, mate. I hope school lets up a little bit.
Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only to the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
What is it that only Hifumi and Celeste had in common? Ah, encountering a suspicious individual, right?
I got it! The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo-Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush, the adults are talking now.
Oh, what an arsehole.
Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual. If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct?
He's such an arrogant sack, isn't he?
And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
I saw a shadow, something moving around at the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she
yeah.
claimed to have seen.
True.
Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor,
She let out a blood-curdling scream.
and when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Celeste, what's wrong? That was a rather intense scream for someone like you. I saw him, the strange costume man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so we headed further down into the hallway and disappeared. Oh man, it's all very convenient now, isn't it?
Once she'd done her job of getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Oh, this bit again.
It was to get us to divide into 2 groups. So that we would discover both bodies at the same time?
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Oh, here we go. Then why don't we split into 2 groups? It was her. I'll lead the hunting party. That seems much more interesting. Very well. Then Makoto and Hina, you can come with me to the nurse's office. I will leave the capture of the suspicious individual to Toko, Byakuya and Sakura.
Well,
I hope it is
if
Celeste.
Celeste and
I hate
Hifumi
Celeste.
were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on. That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the 3rd floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead,
I certainly was not expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure we wouldn't have any doubt in our minds.
I don't believe it. Everything. The whole thing was one big act.
Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right?
Yeah. I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait! Then that was...
She wasn't worried about you. She just saw a chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office.
Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office.
What'd she say? They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. They. She spoke in the plural. Instead of just the killer, the singular. We're going to die just like those guys died.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it.
Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed. So Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the 4 of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. It was completely out of place.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about. Although I don't really get what it means.
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having some trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Byakuya said that Celeste's comment doesn't make sense. What is he alluding to? Well, I don't think I know. I thought I knew, but I don't know if I do. Monokuma file 3. Oh, sure we have to suck this up.
All I said was... They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. They must be positively elated. We are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died. And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's comment?
Okay. When she said that, she should only have known about Hifumi's death. Then what was so strange about what she said is... Okay. Is it guys?
All I said was they must really be enjoying the sight of us standing around. They must be positive we are all going to die here. We are going to die.
Just like those guys died.
And that is all I said.
And that's all it takes to finish this. What was so
strange about Celeste's comment?
Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ.
Shoot!
Okay, I think
All
it's
I
those
said
guys.
was they must really be enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened that they must be positive we are all going to die here. We are going to die, just like those guys died.
And that is all I said.
I'm stuck.
And that's all it takes to finish this. It's obvious, isn't it? What was so strange about Celeste's
maybe
comment?
Just suck this first. And put it on those guys?
All I said was they must really enjoying the sight of us. They must be. We are all going to die. We are going to
Die. Just like...
Yes!
No, that's wrong.
Oh, thank God. I had the right idea, but got the wrong way round. I'm so relieved
right.
I get it right.
There's no reason Celeste should have said, just like those guys died. When she said that, none of us had told her Taka was dead.
Exactly. And we didn't run into her until after we were all out in the hall. So there was never any chance for her to have seen his body in the equipment room for herself.
So how did you know, Celeste? How did you know more than one person had been killed? And how did you know they were both guys?
Yeah, because up until then, the murders have been Sayaka and Chihiro. These were the first guys to die, right? Through murder.
Because Kyoko had also disappeared, right? So she could have been dead too.
You all have such vivid imaginations. You know that?
Imaginations?
You claim that I was lying when I told you about the suspicious person I saw.
Can you... Oh, you can save here. Oh, this is good to know that you can save midway through trials. Because apparently someone told me in chat that like the trials become like 4 hours long.
Then what about the picture I took? How do you explain this picture of the costumed villain dragging Hifumi away?
It has to be some kind of setup, right? So let's put the suit on, and then she used the camera's timer to set up the picture.
That's plausible, right?
Have you so quickly forgotten? You are the only one who could have possibly fit into that suit. Plus, I happen to know that this particular camera does not have a timer.
Oh no, that could be a great spot, dude.
In other words, it is an unassailable fact that this is a picture of Hifumi being dragged away. If everything I told you was a lie, how can this picture exist?
Simple. Are we sure that's really a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away?
Dude, you're right, man. I think you're right.
What could you possibly mean by that?
Surely there are other explanations than the one you've offered up.
No, there is no other explanation.
Other explanations? Yeah, I think he's leaning against the wall. If it wasn't a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away, the only other possibility is Hifumi is dragging the suspect away.
I got it!
Yeah.
It's not a picture of the suspect dragging Hifumi away.
That's what I said as well, Utah. Like, I know he's got such, like, massive hair, and in all honesty, that hair, in order to weigh that down, the helmet would just pop off. I know it sounds so stupid to say, but his hair wouldn't fit in that helmet. You're right, Utubin. I've been thinking that.
I would say it's a picture of Hifumi dragging the suspect away.
That's certainly within the realm of possibility. The one being dragged off in that picture isn't Hifumi, but the person in the robot suit. We've simply been led to believe that it's the other way around. And the strange costume might only exist to lead us astray even farther. If you saw someone wearing something like that in this situation, of course you'd notice and be suspicious.
That's what happened! You put me to sleep and made me out to be the bad guy in all this!
Such a thing is utterly impossible. Hifumi was dragging him away? Ridiculous.
Is it? I don't think it's ridiculous at all.
Then shut your mouth and allow me to educate you.
Oh my god. Celeste thinks she can prove that there's no way Hifumi was dragging the suspect away. But is that really possible? Oh no. Make your argument. This is so hard, this one. Oh man. Okay.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out! Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had
him carry my weight.
You tried to make me look like the bad guy!
Like I said, ridiculous. As you can see in the picture, the suspect is standing perfectly upright. If the person inside the suit was unconscious, there's no way they could stand up straight like that.
Then the fortune-telling idiot is the culprit after all!
No way!
The blueprints might have something to do with it? Yeah, she could have bet so it's the blueprints.
You dressed me up in that suit after I passed out!
Hey, what's up, Morgan? How you doing,
Then
dude?
you just draped me. You tried to make me look.
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person inside, there's no way
They could stand up straight like that.
Oh wait, it's the spending items case, the one before.
Shoot!
I think it's the one before. How you doing, Morgan? Good to see you, man.
You dressed me up in that Then you just draped me across Hifumi and had him carry my weight!
You tried to make me look.
Like I said, as you can see in the picture, if the person inside, there's no
way they could stand.
Yes, okay, we got it.
No, that's wrong.
Hey up. Good to see you, Morgan. We're an hour and a half deep into this class trial.
Even
A
if the
crazy
person
ride.
inside the suit were unconscious, they could still stand up like that. Because that Robo-Justice suit had a certain characteristic.
You totally can't bend at the waist. It seems like a pretty obvious oversight.
That's right! They totally made a mistake when they made it, so it couldn't bend at the waist.
I'm not so sure that was a mistake. I think the suit was designed from the beginning to be used the way it was.
Bro. Oh, what's wrong, Morgan? I know. It's a lot. The class trial's getting so long now. So we've been streaming for 2.5 hours. The first hour was doing investigating, and then since then we've been doing this trial.
Celeste and Hifumi took the suit they'd specially designed and stuffed Hiro into it. That's how they were able to fake that whole thing. The point of it all was to make us believe whoever was in the suit was to blame.
Yeah, it's gotta be Celeste. It's gotta be Celeste. Yeah, you're right, Noah. Bit short when investigating.
Well then, I suppose this is checkmate.
Checkmate?
So it's Celeste. I think we are at the end of it now, though.
Don't make me laugh, you idiot! What do you mean, checkmate? Celeste? Clearly, you want to cram me into your little guilty box. Well, there's one little problem. Have you already forgotten what Hifumi told us as he lay dying?
Hey, Hifumi, who was it who attacked you? Who tried to kill you? Who killed me? That's right, I remember their name. Yes, Hiro.
When we asked him who had attacked him, his answer was quite clear, was it not? He said, and I quote, Yasuhiro. In other words, Yasuhiro Hagakure!
Wait! But my name isn't really Yasuhiro! It's actually Taro!
Your confusing statements don't make any sense. You're only making things more complicated.
He did say Yasuhiro, but are we sure he was really pointing the finger at Hiro?
What the hell are you talking about? I'll burn you alive!
Kyoko, what do you mean by that?
Think back to how Hifumi used to talk to us.
He always used to say Mr. He used to say their surname.
How did he refer to each of us?
He said people's last names.
I got it! That's right! Our last names! He called us all by our last names!
Exactly. I know I heard him say Mr. Naegi more than once, for example.
That is such clever writing from the game. That is so clever. Just a character trait. It's never been referenced before, but you just pick up because you speak to him a lot. Now it's playing a part in this trial. Man, this game is so good.
So if Hifumi did mean to say Hiro's name, he would have said his last name, Hagakure.
I'm sure it was just incidental. By chance, his first name. Indecent?
Don't talk.
Random chance. Now isn't that a convenient explanation? No. There's no reason to think he would have said the name any different than normal. But he must have run out of energy before he could say any more.
So Hifumi was trying to tell us the last name of whoever killed him?
But the name he said doesn't apply to anyone here.
Well, no. Hold on. There's one person it could apply to, and that's Celeste. She never actually told us what her real name is.
What did you just say? To think you'd take your false accusation so far, I don't know whether to laugh or spit! Come on! Enough with your idiotic blather! Yasuhiro is a loser's name! Do I look like a loser to you?
Her voice actor is incredible. And she's doing this weird French accent this whole time, and now her true accent's coming out.
Well, do I? What? I think I've earned the right to be a little on edge.
Okay, then fill us in. What's your real name?
Fine! Make sure your ear holes are wide open and listen up! My real name is Celestia Ludenberg. Could you please stop making me repeat myself over and over again?
Celeste still won't give up. So then, I have to do something to make her accept it. Oh man, what now? What now? Oh, fuck's sake. It's got to be Yasuhiro's message.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something. He wanted us to know the killer's last name, Yasuhiro.
If there's one person here who might have that last name,
It would have to be you, Celeste. You haven't told anyone what your real name is.
How many times do I have to tell you? My name is... Celestia Ludenberg, god damn it!
How long do you plan to go on pretending?
I'm not pretending. It's the truth. And since you have no way to contradict me, that's the only truth there is! Moron!
Oh, ebook. Yes, Noah, dude. Dude. Yes, there you go. Oh man.
Hifumi was trying to tell us something.
he wanted us to know the killer. If there's one
Noah,
person,
It would have to be you, Celeste.
how many
As Henry would
times?
say.
Celestia
With his
Ludenberg!
minigun.
How long do you plan?
I'm not pretending. And since
You have no way to contradict me.
Oh, nice one,
No,
dude.
that's wrong. That's it. The handbook.
What?
Anytime you turn your handbook on, it shows the owner's name when it boots up,
dude.
right?
Saved me there. I would have lost loads of lives.
Monokuma told us all about it before.
This handbook is absolutely vital to a healthy school life, so don't lose it. When you style it up, it will display your name. Always make sure you have the right one. Now, this is not your everyday notebook. It has so many more uses than that.
So all we have to do is check her handbook, and that'll clear up everything. That's how we can find out Celeste's real name.
That's an invasion of privacy. I refuse to cooperate.
It's definitely her.
Celeste, can you please just tell us what really happened? Please, just tell us.
Even when I'm put in check, it's just my nature not to give up. Because until the game's over, you never know what might happen.
Fine then. Let me settle it. Let me go over the case again, from the beginning, and shed light on all your crimes.
Oh shit, this is gonna be so hard. This
and
comic,
that'll bring everything to an end.
this comic is gonna be impossible. Oh man. Okay, so that's Celeste and Hifumi talking. In this case, how did the killer recruit their accomplice? Was it seduction? Was it seduction? That's him looking at her there, somehow? That means seduction? Got 4 extra minutes. I haven't even taken note of the time limits. What time did the killers call their victim to the rec room? The rec room. 1 o'clock for the rec room, right? 6 o'clock for the other one. Who was it that the killers summoned first? Him. And they put him in the suit. They knocked him out and then stuffed him in the robo-justice suit to falsify their evidence. And they used a certain amount to do it. Easy, it's the camera. I don't know, Tom. It's Celeste at the moment is looking at. Oh yeah, I'm using the hints every time, dude. Yeah, I've finally learned. 3rd case in. What time was Taka supposed to head to the equipment room? 6. And that comes to Fumi, smashes him in the face. The justice hammer that was used to kill Taka, what number was it? 4? Or was it 3? No, it's 4, and it was free to use Fumi. In the library, Hifumi used something to fake the existence of a shadowy criminal. He did? What? What's this one? I don't know what this one is. Justice Hammer 3, was it? I think it was that. No, I don't know if it was. Come back to that. Which Justice Hammer was in the nurse's office when Hifumi was pretending to be dead? That was 3. That's 3. Yeah, we're definitely on the same page, Noah. You're in the present now? Sorry, Tom, what do you mean? Oh, give me a sec to time travel. Oh, you're 46 seconds behind, okay. Yeah, it's looking like a Celeste. Right, okay. Hifumi used something to move Taka's body. The trolley. Is that it there? The dolly, rather. The weapon the killer used to murder Hifumi, what was it? It was the clean hammer. This one. Right. So the one we don't know. In the library, Hifumi used something to fake the existence of a shadowy criminal. I don't know what that could be. Oh, good. I hate Celeste. I'm glad it's her. So that's crisps. It's not this poster. It's not the crystal ball. There's a backpack. It looks like Hifumi's wearing it. Oh, Justice Hammer 2! No, it's Justice Hammer 2. When Celeste was first attacked, it was Justice Hammer 1. When we found Hifumi in the library, it was Justice Hammer 2. When he got killed in the nurse's office, it was Justice Hammer 3, and so on and so forth. Yeah, you're with me.
The killer is you! Before anything, the killer persuaded someone to help carry out the murder. And that person was...
She touched him.
Hifumi. With an accomplice, the killer was able to execute a number of otherwise impossible schemes. first, they convinced someone to meet them in the rec room last night at 1 in the morning. That someone they met with was Hiro. The murderous duo intended to pass Hiro off as the prime suspect. So when they met up with him, they drugged him, knocked him out, and stuffed him into the Robo-Justice suit. Next, Hifumi positioned himself to make it look like Robo-Justice was attacking him, while the killer used a digital camera to take pictures of the assault. They did all this
100%.
just to create evidence that would put the suspicion on Hiro. When they were done with him, they shoved him, still unconscious, into the pool room locker. And then finally, at 6 a.m., they moved into the murder phase of their plan. They called Taka to the equipment room. And that's where Hifumi killed him, making it the scene of the first murder.
Yes, got that one
The
right.
murder weapon was Justice Hammer 4, which was left there in the equipment room.
The big question, Tom, what's the big question, dude?
The reason Hammer number 4 was used was to create confusion about the order of the crimes.
Yeah, how the hell did they get that hair in that suit? Oh, man.
So, next they falsified 2 more assault incidents.
That's so true. Right, okay.
For these attacks, the killers pretended to be the victims, to solidify Robo-Justice as the suspect. The first fake incident was the attack in the rec room. There, the killers wanted us to see Justice Hammer 1, and the
Yeah, we don't
Robo-Justice pictures they'd taken.
Must have super movable hair. Very tame hair.
They wanted to make sure we bought the surprise attack story. The second fake incident was the attack in the library. This time, they planted Justice Hammer 2 and an injured Hifumi to sell us that story. With these 2 incidents, the killers were able to create a certain preconception in our minds that the suspect was increasing the size of the hammers and attacking people in order as they did. We fell right into their trap and started looking for the suspect based on that. But
yes, we got that one. Yeah, it could just be a
while
wig.
we did that,
Too
we left
late.
Hifumi alone in the nurse's office.
Maybe it shrinks when he's sleeping or something.
This was exactly what Hifumi was hoping for.
Maybe you can just curl it, really scrunch it down. Maybe they put a hair... Oh, they must have put a hairnet on him. And then put the helmet on. I think that's what they did.
He took a blood packet from the refrigerator and Justice Hammer 3 and turned the room into a crime scene in which he himself had apparently been brutally murdered.
These comics are really good when you, like, manage to watch them in continuous. Look at that frame of him spinning around with all the blood.
He let out a scream to draw us back, and when we returned, that's what we found.
Can't believe Sora from Kingdom Hearts is trapped in this school as well.
Meanwhile, the other group that had been out searching found Taka's body at the same time. So when we heard the body discovery announcement, we naturally assumed it was for Hifumi. We left the nurse's office, and Hifumi once again took advantage of the situation. He simply got up and made his escape. When we learned his body had disappeared, we all rushed back to the nurse's office.
What, Noah? Did you see Sora? Oh, Tom.
And once again, Hifumi had the chance he was waiting for. This time, he snuck into the equipment room.
Can you hear me all right now? Can everyone hear me okay?
He wrapped Taka's body in a tarp and used the dolly to move it all the way down to the repository. That explains how each of the bodies disappeared.
Oh, how are the pots, by the way, Tom? They spick and span? He must have just been so busy cleaning the pots he just forgot about the volume. But hopefully you can hear everything alright, yeah? Because this game is crazy loud. I've had to turn it right down.
But even Hifumi didn't know what the true killer had in mind for their final act.
Alright, cheers, dude.
Their plan all along was to kill Hifumi and get rid of the one person who could betray them.
Yeah, like, not to sound horrible, I said it a few times, but with stuff like this, I'm glad it's like a problem on your side and not mine. That makes me sound so selfish. But at least it's just a simple fix.
And they did it using an ordinary, everyday hammer from the repository.
Oh, imagine getting hit in the face with a hammer.
That should cover everything that happened in this case. And the villain behind it all is...
Celeste! Good job, Sora. That was an attempt at Donald Duck, but I can't do Donald Duck.
Celeste! Sorry, you lose.
Yes. Number one, done.
I lost?
You did.
I lost? When was the last time I was forced to utter such words? They hang heavy around my neck.
Oh, Tom, man, can you imagine? Hearing them pop? Oh, the pain. You'd pass out from the pain. You'd pass out, you'd throw up, and you might die.
Then you admit it? You're the killer?
Listen to you, trying to take charge, as if you're my private instructor. I, Celestia Ludenberg. Actually, no. Taiko Yasuhiro is fine.
Oh!
Taiko?
So, you finally accepted it.
I'm the kind of person, once I've lost, I don't like things to drag on.
Interesting.
I hate Celeste. I'm so happy she's gone. I'm so happy. Right, how do we do? Oh, that C must be the one we really messed up on. Look at that. All the rest were A's. We get 96 coins out of that. Imagine getting hit in the hammer with a couple of balls. My God, you'd be crying for weeks, I reckon. You tub.
Okay, Monokuma. I'm ready to begin.
Oh yeah, don't surprise me, Tom. Oh, like I'm like playing football and that. I've taken a football in the nuts before, and I feel like this close to throwing up. Sucked the last and hit the second, yeah, all because of that bloody stupid round. But we got through, and after that, see, that's what I like about these class trials, because there's a few there where Noah helps me out, and it just feels quite good solving it with other people.
Or, no. I suppose this is the end, isn't it?
It is indeed the moment we've all been waiting for. Time to vote, okay? Okay. If you would, please locate your lever and cast your vote. And when the votes are tallied, who will become the blackened? Will you make the right choice or the dreadfully wrong one? What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
What's gonna be? What's gonna be? What's gonna be? What's gonna be? It's gonna be Celeste. Yeah! Yeah, the wristwatch has quite a big part in it. What? That places Taka's death. That's true, Tom. It was an incredible plan, almost executed to perfection. But when you got us on the case, no one gets away. It's basically a formality at this point, but once again, you're totally correct. The blackened this time, the true killer who devised the whole stinking scheme was... Ta-da! Celestia Lundenberg, or more precisely, Taiko Yasuhiro.